Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell, Start or Stream has been upgraded, bigger, better, bolder, unfiltered, uncut this morning, week 10. I have got a young, up-and-coming fantasy football creator sitting to my side right here. He is ready to introduce himself to the lovely ladies and gentlemen in this broadcast. Please welcome Matt Kelly.
New guy, yeah, just getting started. Just hope this first show. Hope it goes well. You know,
Got the nerves quelled?
Fingers crossed. I've been looking up to you for a long time. I've been listening to Player Profiler for probably 10 years at this point, and just always hoping for an opportunity. And we finally got it here. This is an epic show. We're going to be talking who to start, who to sit, who to stream. We're taking questions from the audience.
We might get into some dental work with some tooth injuries that are floating around out there. I've got some endonologists looked up on ChatGPT to might be able to give us a professional opinion on some of these tooth injuries that are floating around the NFL. But otherwise, I think we're looking pretty good today.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, or not Jacoby Myers, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had some kind of tooth thing. But apparently he was taken off the injury report, so he's not gonna. The tooth is not gonna prevent him from playing, and that's very exciting.
All right, that's what you like to hear. We have got a chock full comment section of start streams here. So what I think I'm going to do is, until the chat rolls in, let's just work backwards from them. Rachel is in the house this morning. The lovely Rachel, Tootsie Pop herself. She wants to know, Chuba Hubbard, Xavier Legette, or Pat Freiermuth need to. So we're talking multiple Panthers that aren't Rico Dowdle or Tet McMillan, or one of the three of the Hydra of the Pittsburgh Steelers tight end room. That's a tricky one.
Deep league.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has to be a very deep league. This must be like 16 teams. This has to be like a deep 16 teamer. Is that the only way you even get to this point with these are the choices?
Right? Injuries, deep league, maybe how much is tight end premium involved?
Like, is this need to? Is this like a flex position? I mean, is this like even like Calvin Austin's not available? So apparently guys like that are not available. Like, this is deep.
We have got Pat Freiermuth projected 6.4 full PPR points, 8.4 for Xavier. And then Rico Dowdle's backup continues to really fly down the rankings. He is at 6.3. So if you're looking for just a straight, we put the work in on the projections rankings, that's going to tell you take the wide receiver here. And that probably does feel like the play, considering they're going to need to, they're playing the New Orleans Saints, the lowly New Orleans Saints, and Tyler Shuck.
I think you play Liggett. And you play Chuba just because we don't know what's going to happen with this game. Like, this game could go either way, and they could call upon Chuba. I know that it's been, hey, we're impressed with Dowdle. We're gonna continue to lean on him, but they paid Chuba Hubbard. They gave him a contract. He was not healthy. He is working his way back. This could be just, hey, this is the week that he's finally fully healthy. And it goes back to being more of a 50-50 split with Rico Dowdle. That's very possible. I just think you play your Panthers here and let the chips fall. This three-way Hydra at tight end, no thanks, man. I'd almost rather play like whoever is behind Hunter Long in Jacksonville. Like, someone has to catch the passes in Jacksonville. You'd almost rather go. I know Parker Washington, I'm sure, is in a league like this is rostered, but you could go even further down the board, especially like at the tight end position. It's possible, like, who is going to be the next AJ Barner? Is Arroyo available? Arroyo is probably not available in this league, given the choices. So who is next? Is it who is it? Johnny Mund?
Still floating around.
Johnny Mund an option? I think I would rather play Johnny Mund. Just for the record, I want to say this. I would rather play Johnny Mund than play Pat Freiermuth. I don't have any interest in like a roulette wheel of tight end production. No thanks.
There's also a pretty decent chance that considering what we've seen out of the Saints with Tyler Shuck, that the Panthers are up by 14 deep into the fourth quarter of this game, and you're seeing the backups getting meaningful touches. You're seeing Rico Dowdle, who is a team captain, continuing the team, giving him some respect, giving him some fourth quarter carries, maybe let him close drives out. You can see a whole lot of that. So I agree. I think the floor is higher with those two. And in deep leagues like this, you really need floor more than you need ceiling.
Well said, Chuck.
That's why, you know what? That's why I started this company, and that's why I've been running it for years. Obviously, I've got the goods going on.
Yeah.
Before we get to this next one, to Slashy, Dustin just wants to shout out Player Profiler. He says, thanks to Player Profiler, I've been playing Dynasty for the past 10 years. Absolutely, Dustin. Dustin's getting after it this morning. The chat's showing up. Slashy wants to know. Slashy has been here for every single show, Matt. You should, for 10
I know Slashy very well.
Mm-hmm.
I was the host of this show for many years.
Mm-hmm.
I know Slashy.
He's the man. He wants to know Mac Jones, Jake Brisket, or Bustin Fields. So a little Jacoby Brissett, a little Justin Fields, a little Mac Jones. We had a little quick Mac Jones talk backstage. He's basically Brock Purdy. So then it comes down to Jacoby gets probably the toughest draw of the week, taking on the Seahawks defense in Seattle. 19 implied point total for the Cardinals. That might be, I think that's the third lowest of the week behind the Saints and behind the Browns. So I guess, is there enough rushing potential from Justin? Are you going to get a QB5 overall game from Justin Fields or a QB25 overall game? And that's probably the tilter here.
Well, yeah, you're playing Fields unless you think there's a risk of him getting benched.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you think there's a risk of him getting benched, then that's something. I mean, it's a 37.5 point total, but when it's a running quarterback, when it's a mobile quarterback of Justin Fields' caliber in terms of he can put up 100 yards rushing in a given game, and it's one of these home games, the Browns, I just can't. I mean, it's possible he gets. Oh my God, if they're losing, yeah, I guess if they're losing by 2 touchdowns, he gets benched at halftime. That would be a disaster. There's less chance of Mac Jones getting benched for Brock Purdy than there is Justin wow, I can't believe that's then Justin Fields. I can't believe that we're in this place right now. This is a fantastic place where so Jacoby Brissett is the most stable option. They're 7-point dogs. You know they're gonna have to throw to be successful in Seattle, and you're gonna play Jacoby Brissett because he also has a little bit of rushing. The 49ers are playing at home against the Rams and a high point total. So I think the question, okay, geez, this is actually a really tough question.
Yeah, no, the more you think about this one, the harder it gets.
I can't believe this is this hard. This is actually quite difficult. The risk-free move is to just bench Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. I can't believe this.
If I was a betting man, I would bet that this is the week that why Jacoby Brissett is on his 5th team in 5 years bubbles to the surface. It's a little easier to look like the savior of the Cardinals franchise when you're playing the Dallas Cowboys, but when you're going into Seattle against this ferocious front, and your starting running back is a combination of Bam Knight and Mari DeMarcado, I think Seattle knows how to shut this down, and I think they do it relatively well. That first matchup they had them shut down with 10 minutes left into the fourth quarter, and Kyler Murray did something that only 3 quarterbacks are capable of really doing, and brought him back. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's capable of that.
Yeah, I think when you are looking at a road team that you know is going to be potentially in comeback mode, that matters. If you believe that the quarterback is a quality quarterback that can execute the 2-minute drill successfully against most defenses, would you say that that's Jacoby Brissett?
It is I think just by virtue of experience.
When I think of quarterbacks, when all the pressure is on and they can execute in the 2-minute drill, these are your top tier quarterbacks. When that's going to be a factor, right? Or a lot of times what happens is we have these subpar quarterbacks. They just have bad games and the points never come. And that's another danger. I think I think so officially we're locked in on Mac Jones now.
Yeah.
And then the question is Fields versus Brissett, and the risk of Brissett having like under 10 fantasy points because of the matchup and that he's not that good is high. The probability of Justin Fields getting benched is high because it would be really embarrassing for them to go down at halftime at home against the Browns. So that's high. But the upside of if Fields has a good game is higher than if Brissett has a good game. I mean, what's Brissett's good game against Seattle? It can't be that good.
I would say if they're down by a decent amount, which I believe they will be, probably 14 points, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, maybe 2 interceptions, something like that. You're not getting any rushing. Because, and you, like you mentioned, the benching, right? There's no fear of him coming off the field. The Cardinals came out this week and said that even if Kyler Murray was healthy, he still wouldn't get the start. I don't know what that is. That is one of the most subtle digs.
Kyler Murray's on the IR, isn't he?
He is. Yeah, he is.
So he can't play. Now, by the way, has anyone checked who the quarterback is behind Brissett in Arizona? Do you know who it is?
I know you have, and I know you've got the name for us because you gave it out on your plays, and I had to confirm that you were not messing with me by looking up this individual. So I'll let you take this one.
Kedon Slovis. So in Superflex, in deep leagues, deep dynasty leagues, you need to just roster Kedon Slovis because even if something happens to Brissett, it's not like they can deactivate from the IR. It's over. They've made this decision. That's why the IR is a serious decision. It's like you get an extra roster spot, but you're committing that this guy is going to be out for several weeks. Finally they changed the rules on the IR a few years back to make it sort of less of a penalty to put players on the IR, less of a commitment of number of weeks out, but still.
Somebody tell that to Tampa Bay.
Interesting.
Somebody tell that to Tampa Bay with the Bucky Irving situation. That would have been a fantastic little roster.
Just should have IR'd him.
I know. What's going on?
IR'd made us all much easier. By the way, this week, one of my plays, absolutely Rachaad White. This is a Rachaad White week. This is in the frenzy. We should see where the frenzy's at in terms of the fill rate. I think it's almost full in the frenzy, but I was seeing some frenzy drafts happening, and I was paying particular attention to where is Rachaad White being drafted, and it was way too late. Way too late. Some fringy for the frenzy, fringe-ish wide receivers before starting all-purpose back Rachaad White. Now, I know Sean Tucker is supposed to play. And by the way, as of this moment, the quick slam or the quick 6 super slam filled already.
Let's go.
So that filled, and the frenzy is at 91%. So frenzy drafts are going to be happening right up until kickoff, most likely. And the Rachaad White ADP is just too late, and there's probably people that are not playing him just because what is the total fantasy points been? What is the total? He could easily have his season high point total this week. It would make perfect sense if he did at home against the Patriots. Just makes sense.
Bucks have a 29 implied total this week. And I know you're seeing a lot of stuff about the Patriots front as far as their ability to shut down the rush. Well, Rachaad White has never been here to give you the rushing production. He is there to give you strong goal line work and strong receiving production. This is going to be a shootout. I think Drake May is going to come in and he's going to have a game against this Tampa Bay defense, which Todd Bowles will blitz a lot, but May has taken on a series of difficult defensive coordinators this year. I think he's going to be able to handle that. Rachaad White coming off of RB7, RB10, RB30, and then he was injured against the Saints, so only played half the game, RB30 as well. I think he floats closer to that top 12 running back than he does a mid RB3.
Cool. Yeah. I'm with you there. I think that a question that I saw, which was Theo Johnson versus Colston Loveland. Theo Johnson's been very steady, right? Steady. He's the guy getting the targets at the tight end position. He's banking a touchdown. But given all the volatility that we're seeing in this Chicago passing game, and Colston Loveland stepping up, looking like he's the Gronkowski second half of his rookie year, that you just got to keep going back to Colston Loveland. I mean, you're going to regret it. If you play Theo Johnson over Colston Loveland, that has a much higher regret factor than if you play Loveland over Theo Johnson.
Hey,
because we've seen the big giants Harry Spike Week from Colston Loveland. We have not yet seen that from Theo Johnson, and Colston Loveland has a better pedigree. So I think this is an easy ceiling play where you're shooting for another 20-point week from Loveland.
Yeah, this is a tricky one with Johnson because touchdowns are masking up, but is a pretty lackluster receiving production profile from him, at least this season. I mean, 2 receptions, 3 receptions, 3 receptions, 3 receptions, and one of them was a busted play against Denver that I think we all know. So, I mean, you could be looking at somebody who's under 10 points in all but one game this season, if not for that. So when you get into that tight end range, that kind of tight end 9 through 20, you're just looking for upside. And I think Loveland showed you why they took him with the 10th overall pick. Let's get to Evan here. He hits us with a full PPR, Monungai, Vidal, Henderson, or QJ. So we got the news that DeAndre Swift, although injured, is going to play. Vidal looking for a bounce back game after a dud against the Titans. Henderson, Henderson has been the
Why do you laugh? Wait, why did you just laugh?
I laughed.
Why did you laugh?
He has been the star of this show. Nobody, and for a good reason, has any idea any particular week what to do with this guy in compare. I've seen him in Henderson or because the range of the start sits for him goes from Henderson or DeAndre Swift some weeks, or Henderson or Blake Corum, or Henderson or David Montgomery, or Henderson or Jerome Ford. Like the volatility and what people are struggling to project for him, myself included, is why I love doing this show.
Listen, he got 2 red zone carries. He got 6 targets. Okay. He put up 87 total yards last week. That should have been a success, but because there were no touchdowns in there, he only put up 12.5 fantasy points. Yep. He was an RB2, and no one felt melted by the performance. No one's face was dripping off their skull. It's going to happen. This is the kind of talent this guy has. In week 1, he was 6 for 6. Okay, he's really good. He's one of the best running backs in college football. He was the 6th pick in the 2nd round. He's best comparable to Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush had these 12-point weeks all the time, and Reggie Bush also had 25-point weeks. And last time I checked, Ramondre Stevenson is out. Antonio Gibson is on the IR. There's a guy named Jennings in there getting carries. Who cares? This is the game that come on, man. Like, this is why we do this. I know Tampa doesn't give up a lot of fantasy points to running backs on the ground, but they're one of the most fantasy friendly defenses for running backs in the passing game. So in terms of receptions, receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, they give up 3.5 points above the mean to opposing running backs. So the type of running back that Henderson is a good fit for fantasy points against Tampa Bay. This is a smash. It's a floor play because he's getting the snaps, and he's now the main back on the team. So in that way, typically that's like a floor play. Like, okay, we know that Monangai is going to get all the carries. Best case, he can maybe turn it into 200 yards. We know he's not going to catch a lot of passes. We know that. It's different with Henderson. He's actually going to catch passes, and he has more explosiveness, and he is the main guy. It's just that in the box score, we have not yet seen the 20-point outcome, and therefore he is showing up in the starter stream show. Let me ask you this. If he had scored last week and put up 20 fantasy points, would anyone be asking this question on a starter stream?
No, he had 14.5 expected points last week, and that was basically the touchdown. So a touchdown is swinging what would have gone from here's a guy who's breaking out to another what do we do with him this week, and that's all it is. Pete's chiming in this morning. He said Bucks putting the Pats in the dirt today. I agree with that, and I think that there's going to be no running between the tackles on the Buccaneers and on Vita Vea, and that is why Jennings is going to be more or less useless, in my opinion. And
don't play Jennings this week.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you're saying there, I think that if the Patriots want to be successful against this front seven in Tampa Bay, It's going to be getting the ball out in the flats to Trevion Henderson and doing it often.
They're also missing Butte. Okay, it's just there is a consolidation of weapons happening in New England. Major consolidation of weapons where it's like Diggs and Henry and Douglas and Henderson are what's left. And I like all these guys. I had DeMario Douglas as a play of the week, right? That's why it's heartbreaking when I see these questions like, should I play Pat Freiermuth? I'm like, so you're in a league where you can't even go to DeMario Douglas. Like that.
Who do you think has the highest ceiling of all these players on the screen right now?
I really wouldn't enjoy playing in a league where I can't go start Calvin Austin or DeMario Douglas. I feel like that needs to be an option for me if I really need it. And if that's not an option and I have to be so fanatical about the waiver wire and to be able to think ahead and scoop DeMario Douglas weeks before he does anything. I mean, I appreciate the competitiveness of a league like that. That league probably not for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't want to be getting alerts for league activity. I don't need to be keeping up with it. I'm already checking the apps enough as it is. I don't need to know that the 12th place team just picked up who's here? Who would be in this? Picked up Ty Johnson. I don't need those alerts.
Yeah, that's no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Did we answer Dustin Brown's question? Olave, Keenan Allen, or Shakir?
Let's get to that here. Where is that in the chat? Is that way up there?
That was Dustin Brown. This guy, he had a compliment. So anytime someone compliment, I'm a sucker for a compliment.
Boom. Yeah.
So anytime anyone compliments us, then I'm probably going to give them priority.
Olave, Keenan Allen, or Shakir is a fun one. We have got, just to give you guys the rankings this week in particular, we've got Shakir at wide receiver 20. We have got Keenan Allen, already big dog, at wide receiver 25. And then we've got Chris Olave with second start for Tyler Shuck here. He is wide receiver 12. Let's go. We've got wide receiver
I think this projection. Is Olave week because, again, the law of the conservation of targets overrides other issues, quarterback play, etc. In fact, this is, we might be in the center of all the corollaries. In fact, Chris Olave may represent like the ultimate corollary in that. And by the way, there was the original core. Does anyone know who the original sports corollary, I believe, was the Ewing theory by Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons making his first appearance on the show this year. All right.
First and last. I know.
Sorry, right? Bill.
But I did. But I just want to bring that up because my daughters actually experienced this in soccer, where the Ewing theory, where their quote unquote best player would get injured and the team won the tournament.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, why do you think that? Does anyone know why that happened? Oh, because you all are just watching her like you dribble all around everybody all the time. And you were all it was a team effort. You're not just trying to dump the ball into Patrick Ewing all the time. So that was the Knicks would play better sometimes without Patrick Ewing in the lineup. Some of the corollaries that we've discussed many times at Player Profiler, one of them is the law of the conservation of targets, which says that if a good player leaves the passing game, it opens up opportunities for everyone, but in particular, the number one receiver. And so it's an important principle. And also there is the Tom Savage corollary. And the Tom Savage corollary comes from Tom Savage played 8 games in relief of Deshaun Watson, the elite Deshaun Watson, tore his ACL. And so it was everyone predicted DeAndre Hopkins that his production would collapse post Deshaun Watson, and it remained exactly the same. The fantasy points were exactly the same. The target share went up by 10%. The catch rate went down. The catchable target rate went down, and the fantasy points stayed the same because backup quarterbacks, what do? They lock in on their number one option.
Do you know who is the high? Who is projected
the ball around as much?
Do you know who's projected to have the most targets of any player this week at any position?
Chris Olave.
Chris Olave at 11.7 projected targets, playing Carolina. I think this is a smash, and I agree with Will. I mean, you look at his target consolidation throughout the year, regardless of who's in and out of the lineup. I mean, this has been steady Betty, and when you get that kind of when the spotlight's on you that long, eventually you shine. And I think this is one of those weeks.
Let a quarterback downgrade chase you off of these particular spots where it's the right matchup, the right player, the right situation. You have target conservation coming in out of nowhere. No one was expecting. I mean, this was one of those, like, in hindsight, so obvious they were going to trade Shaheed.
Yep.
But then when it happens, everyone's like, oh, well, that's interesting. Shaheed's going to play this week. I think Shaheed is a strong play this week. This makes a lot of sense to me.
I want to poo-poo a little bit of that same one here real quick. Keenan Allen, he is not finished. He's got one finish ahead of wide receiver 43 in the last 6 weeks. So if you're looking at Chris Olave versus maybe like a Devonta Smith or a Garrett Wilson, I could understand that. But these other two guys are just guys that I'm very okay benching, especially Shakir as well, just with the pick and pop that Josh Allen continues to do and just finding who's open, not necessarily honing in on the one guy. Just want to wrap that up.
We got a weather question. Weather alert.
All right.
Weather alert, dude. B-Dog.
Who's hitting us? Who's hitting us with the weather? B-Dog?
B-Dog has a weather question. Caleb Williams or J.J. McCarthy? He's worried about the weather with Chicago.
I gotta find this guy. Where's B-Dog? Oh, here we go. All right. It's weather week, baby. It's November. Now we don't have to just, we have a multitude of reasons to blame our losses, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just the coaches. It's not just the players. It's not just the referees. Now we have a fourth one. We can get the weather involved here because it's never our fault. We don't do anything wrong. It's the players. It's the coaches. It's nature that's taking over for us here. The inclination here for me off the rip here is pretty easily Caleb Williams. We've got Caleb Williams as our quarterback 6 on the week. The Bears have an 25.75 implied Vegas point total, which is one of the highest of the week. It might actually be it's top 5 for sure. And the point totals are lower this week than they have been in previous weeks, just because of the weather, because of some of the quarterback changes, because of some of the matchups. You got JJ McCarthy down there at quarterback 14. He's below Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, just ahead of Jordan Love, Marcus Mariota. So he's basically like the top streamer of the week, if you will, versus Caleb, who's been a fixture of lineups.
I like Mariota as a streamer this week for sure. Mariota's gonna have to run around, and the players that are healthy in Washington operate close to the line of scrimmage, like a Deebo Samuel. So I think he can leverage them and have success. The issue with Caleb Williams is the wind. The wind is projected to gust at over 40 miles an hour with some snow, but the precipitation is not the issue. As the afternoon goes along, sun's going to come out, the wind's going to go down a little bit. And if you had benched Caleb Williams and in the second half, the wind is down to like 15 miles an hour, you're going to feel like a total idiot. So don't do it. I'm just saying, don't do it. Don't let it, unless this is like a, storm warning of where it's going to be wind and rain, major wind and rain. We've had those in Baltimore. We've had those in New York, Buffalo. Those can happen, and they absolutely will drag down the production of the quarterback. There's no doubt about it. This is a little too. This is a little too uncertain. Whether there will be any impact whatsoever. So just play Caleb Williams at his median projection expectation this week.
And I agree. And this is another one where if McCarthy was playing a New Orleans or if he was playing a Washington, maybe I'd feel differently. But the Ravens defense, despite what the last 6 weeks will tell you, they're rounding into top 5, top 7, maybe even top form right now with how they're playing on that side of the ball. So I just think it's a bad matchup for JJ. On top of that, Brittany loves a weather stat, and we love Brittany. I just wanted to shout out Dustin and say, Dustin, when Keenan Allen scores the easiest touchdown you've ever seen in your life today, and we recommended not to play him, I just want you to think of us. I just wanted to make sure that was put out there. We've got Henry Odom. Henry wants to know, Harrison Jr. or Laporta in the flex full PPR. We've got Laporta coming off that big game last week. He's our tight end 7, 11.5 projected full PPR points, 29.25 implied Vegas points for the Detroit this week. I believe that's the highest of any team. And then you've got Harrison Jr. We talked about Jacoby Brissett a little bit earlier. He's down at wide receiver 31, taking on the Seahawks. Tough matchup, but he's projected 12.1 full PPR points. So basically, this is a floor versus ceiling play for me. I'd love to know where you land.
Oh, Harrison Jr. all the way. Mm-hmm. I know this is one of those games where we're going to look up and he's 3 for 30, and sorry, it could happen. It could happen, right? Mm-hmm. But this is Marvin Harrison Jr., and what we know is that he has played better the last 2 games.
Yes.
Is that a coincidence, or is there some kind of correlation there? Is there something that's changed with the offense that may be more Marvin Harrison friendly in Arizona? And I am leaning into that, and I'm leaning into this difficult matchup. It could be that the offense is just completely incompetent in Seattle. Brissett is kicked around the league for a reason, and we're all reminded that's right. And then Laporta scores a touchdown, and we're feeling ridiculous. But the probability of a 20-point outcome is higher for Harrison. He is I guess, still the 1B in Arizona, but he's now bending closer to with Brissett. It's more of a 1A, 1B situation as opposed to him being the clear second option. And that's enough for me, that Brissett is better at delivering the ball to the perimeter to Marvin Harrison in more catchable situations. You've seen the fantasy points spike. The air yards have been over 100 2 consecutive weeks. So this is the direction to go.
Yep.
Chase that rainbow.
Marvin Harrison has 2 10-target games this season. One of them was against the Seahawks in week 4, and that was with Kyler Murray. Let's upgrade the quarterback. Let's upgrade the flow of the offense, and let's go back into Seattle and see if they can improve on that. That was that game, too, where he had the yips, that famous Thursday night game where he was dropping the easiest passes that you'll ever see a wide receiver drop. I think he's sure.
You mean like it was one particular game?
That
was that one famous game where Marvin Harrison was dropped. Oh, wait a second.
Never happened again, right? Never happened.
Oh, you mean that NFL career of Marvin Harrison? Yes. And that's okay. That is okay. One of the all-time leaders in drops is Brandon Marshall.
Correct.
And he was great. And he had huge 30-point spike weeks regularly. So you're going to go ahead and play him.
Well, Matt, Dave wants to know, another up-and-coming content creator. Dave wants to know, does Chuck know that receipts are scientifically proven to decrease testosterone levels? I can't for the life of me understand what he might be talking about, Dave. You might be in the wrong broadcast. You might be, you just might be off base here.
So I've seen that, like, I am at a level of sort of of managing my time where I'm not able to spend as much effort. And I used to really enjoy being on Twitter, fantasy Twitter in particular. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, I have 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and open up and I'm going to just enjoy this 5 minutes on Twitter X.
You picked the right day.
Right. So I don't, but a lot of things get past me. Right. So I feel I feel insecure about it because things are discussed or people assume I know things and I don't because I missed it. And it was all over Twitter X for a day or two and I just missed it. And it's something that really bothers me. And I'm actually, every last couple of years I've been making this promise to myself that I would be more on Twitter X more. It's like the opposite problem that like parents have with Gen Z and millennials or whatever. It's like, oh, they're on social media too much. And I'm like, I'm not on social media enough. Right? I'm the opposite. I'm like an anti Gen Z, that whatever. So I was made aware of this. I guess you're going to call it a controversy or a scandal. I don't know what you want to call it. But there's been this guy Fusuvu that I've been following, and I don't know if you know this. I had Fusuvu on the podcast.
All right.
Nate Liss and I had Fusuvu on the Sonic Truth podcast, I want to say in like 2017. And he was awful on air. His sound quality was terrible. He was very mumbly.
Yeah.
He's not a polished, camera ready personality. That's not it. But there are a lot of football stats guys that's not them. Right? That's not them. And
that was the Tom Savage year. Shout out Tom Savage again.
That's right. But that's Fusuvu, right? So Fusuvu and Fusuvu is one of the famous DGAF social media personalities. And I saw that he was melting down about fantasy receipts. So I don't know the impetus of this. Did fantasy receipts clip one of his takes? And that's what started all this?
I think that's happened multiple times. And eventually this guy saw a window to kind of boost the fame a little bit and took it, because there is a big anti-fantasy receipts that you can tap
I'm
into.
Anti-fantasy receipts. I hate fantasy receipts. Yes. I don't follow fantasy receipts is not, in fact, I know I don't follow fantasy receipts because every time I go to Twitter, it suggests that I follow fantasy receipts, and then I just dismiss it. And I'm like, I would never follow that coward. If they want to put their name on it, go ahead. If they don't want to be anonymous, then fuck off. So that's my stance for now and forever on all types of media. Right.
Well, I'll say the same thing I told Jax Falcone earlier this week, is that I just enjoy the attention too much to be anonymous. So for anybody out there who's still putting the betting odds on me being the favorite, I can assure you that's not the case. But
you go live on Player Profiler on Sunday morning, and anyone can jump in the chat and they can confront you about anything. And I love it. I love it.
That's
Fantasy
the best part.
Receipts doesn't do that. Did I see a video of Fantasy Receipts with a black face?
Like this was Dateline.
Was it a full face mask? What was it? Was it like a fencing mask?
Yeah, it was like a whistleblower trying to, like even the guys even the whistleblowers against Boeing aren't taking that much precaution in their interviews. So they absolutely should. But yeah, and then there was some audio visual breakdowns of who it could be and stuff.
So let's just break this down for the people that don't know. So there's this thing called Fantasy Receipts, and they will find takes, positions that fantasy analysts take on players. A lot of these are hot takes, or they're just in hindsight embarrassing. I'm sure I have these positions where I was like, this player's definitely better than this player.
I've got a million of them.
And I said it during the pre-draft process, and then I've been clipped about Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. If it's a Rams receiver, I've been clipped about it at some point. So even Steve Smith Sr. Pulled a fantasy receipts on me at one point.
Oh, that's a badge of honor.
And so that was fun. Apparently he's really tough. He broke someone's orbital bone in practice, a teammate. But so far my face pristine. So Steve Smith is I'm here. I'm waiting.
Steve's got a lot going on. He's got some.
Sorry, Steve's at the door. I gotta go. I gotta go beat up. So that's Fantasy Receipts. Basically, a whole anonymous account, basically exposing the bad positions and playing the result on fantasy analysts that in the predictions business. And Fusu was a victim. We'll call him a victim. And so he snapped. So my understanding is, from my view, again, this is I am a social media lurker mostly. I'm a drive-by lurker where I kind of see things out of context, not knowing the root of where this came from. And I'm trying to follow it. And I'm like, oh my God, I told myself I'd only be on this for 5 minutes. And it's 15 minutes. And my wife's calling me. And I'm like, I can't leave. I need to figure this out. Who's Fantasy Receipts? Oh my God. So I'm checking this out. And then suddenly he is just posting at a rapid rate and frantic, right? Frenzy of posts and just calling fantasy receipts all the names in the world and going. I wanted to say it was a meltdown, but you're saying you think it might have been intentional. I thought this was more of like, I've been in this situation before where I couldn't control myself, where I knew another post was a bad idea. I knew quote tweeting was a bad idea. I knew replying was a bad idea, and I did it anyway.
Yeah.
And because in the moment you're just so furious and you just can't think straight and you can't think rationally. So I thought that might have been what's happening with him, trying to expose fantasy receipts and drag him into the mud, or whoever it is into the mud.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was then fantasy receipts responds with this weird video. And as soon as I saw that weird video, and it was like, I was like, is this real? Did this fantasy receipts account admin actually make this? Is this? And then I asked a bunch of people at Player Profiler, and they said, yeah, this thing where he has the black mask, that's a real video he posted. That was posted by the Fantasy Receipts account. That's no joke. And I was like, wow, if you end up with a black face mask on social media distorting your voice, Fusuvu has won.
Yeah, there's no losers here, only winners, except for my lovely wife who's bringing me a fresh cup of coffee right now as we speak. Thanks, Ben.
And then it went further, and at that point, Fusuvu is trying to then guess who Fantasy Receipts is. He has an obsession of outing, was doxing Fantasy Receipts, right? And I think Fantasy Receipts home address should not be released to the public, but their name absolutely should be.
Yeah.
So, in this particular case, I think his first guess was Luke Sawhook. Is that right?
Yeah, he went with Luke, which I'm not sure why. That was a weird choice. Must have either never met Luke or follow Luke to the extent to know, because that's such an easy no. There's a lot of people. It makes sense to go after me because some of the stuff.
Why do you think it's obvious that it's not Luke Sawhook?
I think I just know Luke well enough to know that that's not the kind of individual that would partake in something that dips in the toxicity that it does, unless he's got like a Joker syndrome about him that I don't know about, but I don't think that's the case. I think it would be I proposed that it was somebody who didn't make it as a creator and is taking this out and tapped into something that I think a lot of people experience, which is fantasy analysts give bad takes. And they want to expose that, which I get. It's a great idea on surface level, but the way that they went about it, I think, was mistaken. And I just don't think
the way that Fantasy Receipts has gone about their business,
yeah,
I think Fusu, or both.
Definitely both in this situation. Okay. I think Fantasy Receipts learned from that because early on, I think there was a little vitriol in it.
We're referring to this person as Fantasy Receipts. It's so funny.
Yeah. It's go ahead. That's where we're at. No, it's and I think they backed off that a little bit and they just started posting takes, which is like what you should have just done in the first place. Like, here was a bad take, which I love, and I do that myself on my own account. So but there was more investigative. Kev put out a video. I don't know what you saw. He did like a 16-minute investigation on who he thinks it is. Eliminated me as
Kev who?
I don't want to butcher his last name.
Just so we can give everybody credit.
Yeah, let's see here.
I want to make sure all the credit is given for this big social media controversy and all the people that are putting in the good work, the good investigative journalism to get to the bottom of this.
Sure. No, Kev, the rotosurgeon, Maher Sajan, he put on a very well done video on who he thinks it might be, and he put some stuff, but he never said like this is who it is. He did, but he didn't say like I would bet my life on it. He just said this is who I think it is. So
basically Fusu has kicked off a real witch hunt. This is actually a witch hunt.
It's fun.
This is fun. He has kicked off. He has given permission to the social media fantasy football sphere.
Yeah.
To go hunt down fantasy receipts. Fantasy receipts must be scared, man. Running scared. You have to be running scared if you're putting on a black mask and you're recording a video.
Yes. Well, think about it. If you're just like a normal fun guy who enjoys fantasy football content, you can either look at your lineups and figure out if you want to play Jerry Jeudy or Malik Washington, or you can put your time and energy into whose fantasy receipts. I'm going to do the latter if that's the case right now.
By the way, everyone go follow at Fantasy Receipts on Twitter X. We're going to be talking about this person, this anonymous account this much. They deserve as many follows as we could possibly generate for them.
To be fair, they've gone dark. They've gone dark. They haven't posted since October 23rd. And I think they're taking a little mental health break over there at the Fantasy Receipts staff. Yeah.
Oh my dude, this is this is super validating for anyone who just wants to lean into a social media meltdown. Think about this. Like,
I don't get a lot of these.
I was like thinking about DMing Fusuvu and being like, "Hey, buddy, are you okay? Like, this seems like this is getting you at a deeper level than just the entertainment shtick of what we're doing." Yeah. The back and forth is fun, and this seems like it's getting to you in a deeper way, maybe not good. But of course I didn't bother doing that.
No. And also, I mean,
and a good thing I didn't, because this guy's a genius. He's shut down Fantasy Receipts and created content that he's got me back on this show. Right. And so he ends up blaming Luke Sawhook, somehow decides, no, that threat, that's a dead end. He gets dead ended at Luke Sawhook, and then he pivots to you. And he was very convinced that it was you. I wasn't convinced, but he was very convinced. And you alluded to this, but I want to make sure that we pull on this thread slightly, and I explain. Fusuvu put the video, the black mask video, into a voice recognition software. And
this is my dream.
Which again, bad idea by Fantasy Receipts. Like, did he really think like how? That is a clue right there as to who Fantasy Receipts is. That they're so stupid that they think that in today's world of like artificially generated fingerprinting, right, of identity detection, and everything being videoed and everything being recorded and everything on every server, that they could just put on a black mask and it would be fine and distort their voice. Like, this is like 1972. Like, this like Watergate.
This is Deep Throat. He tried to deep throat this situation.
I just saw the president's men. This should be fine.
It's just so brutal all the way across the board. But Matt, I'll have to tell you, if you had told me when I started out in the fantasy business that at some point somebody was going to make me their profiler picture out of spite, I would have said home run. Nailed it.
Chuck, your takes are bad.
Tell us about Puka.
Fantasy Receipts are here to expose the worst fantasy analysts. We're doing a service to the community. Don't come after us. Don't accuse us of being Luke Sawhook.
Time to get the police involved.
I can't believe this is happening. This is crazy.
So Odunze Flowers or Waddle is basically.
No, we're not talking about. I want it. So we need to have this on the record, okay?
Sure.
That even though Fusuvu had a voice recognition expert identify you as Fantasy Receipts, matched
Grok.
your voice.
It was Grok, which is when you ask Grok, is this Chuck Bass? It's not going to say no. It's going to say, yeah, I think that's Chuck Bass. That's just how these AIs work.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm glad you're able to explain it and defend yourself. Okay.
I'm on growth here.
A quack voice recognition expert accused or pinpointed Chuck Bass as the mastermind of mastermind head coward at Fantasy Receipts, right?
Yep.
Put your name on it, Fantasy Receipts. Stop being a coward. Well, actually, it's kind of where, you know what? I say that, and that was back when I thought Fantasy Receipts had like a spine and was kind of had an edgy, dangerous vibe. Now that he's already cowering, or we don't know who it is, right? She is already cowering. Now I sort of feel bad that Fantasy Receipts all along was this mentally fragile.
It's just this story involves all mentally fragile individuals. Of course, minus myself.
This is really disappointing. Now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, I had Fantasy Receipts pretty high up in my on my, pretty high score on my opinion meter of like balls on social media, right? I was like, this guy's got real courage to put all this out there, and if he's ever exposed, and he's putting in a lot of, clearly we're talking about hours and hours and hours of effort to track and go back and find takes from years ago that he had logged and archived based on performances that are happening this week. It's a lot of work, a lot of effort. Yeah. And while I wouldn't give him the satisfaction of following the account, there was a respect that this is effort. This takes balls. Now to see the account going dark just when there's a little bit of heat, when someone's actually pushing back in a way that is beyond normal sort of polite society behavior. And anyone goes hard at you and you just turn tail and you put your head down and you close your account, or you mute your or you just shut down your posting schedule, and you're anonymous. I mean, this is a level of cowardice that it's hard to even reach. And
so I have to ask you,
has exposed it all.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, what is the risk that this person thinks they're taking on if they were to expose themselves? Like, let's say it was hypothetically Luke, right? And if Luke came out on it, that's not going to change, at least I don't think, anything about Luke in the industry, Luke's relationships, friendships, anything like that. Because I just don't think it's that big of a deal, unless this is somebody...
It wouldn't be a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm secure in my ability to do this well. But there are people that are less secure who could have been offended, or it could have made them see him differently. It's possible. I'm just saying, in the moment when you're doing these things, it's uncomfortable. I've done this. I've criticized others on a podcast, on social media. I mean, probably the person I've criticized the most probably was Mike Clay in my many times on social media, on the podcast. And every time I surfaced a Mike Clay position that I did not agree with, I didn't feel like I was in the safest waters of it. I thought that I was wading into something that was a little bit scary. Because he has such a big audience, and I didn't know if he would ever find out, react, care, whatever. And I knew that was a risk, and I said, fuck it, I'm doing it because I just feel this way, and I have to, I'm doing this podcast because I want my opinion to be heard on everything, including my analysis of others' analysis. And if I can't do that, then I don't want to have a podcast. So I just decided to just push it out there and go forward and do it. So, but now that it was something this, because Fusuvu relentlessly posting tweets is not something that should ever stop you from.
It's just loser behavior.
Pushing forward with your agenda. I mean, keep going, man. The fact that he shut it down so easily is so embarrassing for Fantasy Receipts.
Well, that's why I wonder if it's somebody who thinks they have a lot to lose. So is it somebody who's like has a high position somewhere and they're afraid that they would terminate them? Or is it somebody who's like, if I come out publicly, I'm never going to get a foothold in this industry? I don't know. I'm not sure. Pop Dog wants to know. So who's going to take up the mantle? Matt, I noticed something. Your hat is one letter away from fantasy receipts. So if you just change that D to an R, you could pull that hat right back down and you're in the mix.
So for the record though, just so that we have to come full circle, and I want to get a few more start sits in here.
Yeah.
You're not fantasy receipts.
I am not fantasy receipts. I swear to God.
Because there's voice recognition software suggesting you are.
I would ask anybody who thinks that it would be me to go, what behavior do I not exhibit on my normal account and my normal life, my active social media life, that I would need anonymity to hide how it is that I feel? I've said some things that my mom has texted me and said, can you not, you're representing our entire bloodline here. Can you take that down? And I don't take those down still when that is the case. I have had this account, Fantasy Receipts, message me and ask me to take posts down because they found them to be insensitive and just kind of, no, I mean, the thing is, I've got a laundry list of DMs I could release that would automatically take me off the list, but I'm just enjoying the spotlight too much to let this thing come to a nice steady end. I've dominated everybody who's come at me. I've got this guy creating 40 to 50 burners, trying to come at me from different angles. And if only they knew that that's what fuels me. That's what fuels me. And that's what keeps me going every single morning. And Scott agrees. Scott says you're locked in, Matt, and you are locked in.
I love this. This is what I live for. I said, I'm coming on the show, whether you like it or not, Chuck. I was like, you put me on for the whole show. He's like, you want to pop in for 10 minutes? I'm like, no, this is the whole show. And I was like, and it's important to me that we give the people at least a half an hour of good, genuine, super solid moves that you can set your watch by and feel good about for fantasy football, start, sit decision, stream. We'll tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But eventually, we got to talk fantasy receipts. Eventually, we got to talk Fusu Vu. Eventually, we got to get the people what they want, which is answers to this. And I think that the final takeaway that we've received here is that fantasy receipts is a complete beta social media personality at a level of cowardice and just flaccidness that I'm shocked by. Like, it's starting to all click together. That account was complaining to you about a post you made. That account, I had the wrong impression. I thought this was one of the great DGAF accounts in all of fantasy football. And I felt like I was taking a principled stand to not follow it. But damn, did I respect it. And now I officially, and I want to say this as clear as possible to everyone in this audience. I officially have lost all respect for fantasy points. Excuse me. I love Theo.
Fantasy points getting
What did I just do? I'm going to say that again. I, Matt Kelly, the Podfather, officially have lost all respect for fantasy receipts.
That might be the social media clip right there. You need to get the producers on this. That might be the nail in the coffin for this guy, unfortunately. This guy or guys, depending on.
And if you want if your son or daughter, anybody that you know wants to have success on social media, send them to the account on Twitter X run by one Fusu Vu. And that is the way to go.
That's a do as I say, not as I do scenario there. We got him.
We got
You're doing
that's it.
Scott's,
There's nothing else. There's nothing left to say.
No, it has been, and everybody, the chat pretty much agrees. You know, Pardusky, shout out Pardusky. He's here. He's the man. Fantasy Receipt sucks featuring this Fantasy Receipt sucks featured in Cowardice. I mean, the people agree with you, Matt.
Yeah, it feels so good I feel like there's been some resolution here in that now that I know the Fantasy Receipts was always just a piece of shit. You know, underlying it, a weak piece of shit that at its core. Now I've lost any investment in knowing who it is. See, that's the thing. You can find out who it is to satisfy your curiosity, or you can eventually come to terms with the fact that you just don't care. So what's happened to me is I just don't care now because there's nothing. This is it's a shit account.
We lost the plot.
Run by a coward. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for something better, but everything's bad on social media again.
Oh, maybe we'll try and get a truth bomb out there later today. Maybe we'll get some more. If I can implore the chat, if you guys have some free time today, if you're looking at your lineups and you're projected to score 40 points by 3 p.m., help us out here. Let's get some more. Let's get the wisdom of the crowd out there to get some investigative work on here. I do want to shout out Origami, who said, I've heard that Belichick is Fantasy Receipts. And when you come to the show with a comment like that, we got to answer your start sit, right? We got to answer Odunze, Flowers, or Waddle. Waddle's our wide receiver 10 on the week. Odunze is our wide receiver 19. And Flowers is our wide receiver 14. So you've got all these guys are separated by just about 4 in the rankings. They are all within 1 point of each other. I
like Waddle this week.
Yeah, Waddle's a smash.
Waddle on principle. Waddle is a dynamic playmaker. And and there's no Tyreek Hill. I mean, here's what I like to do sometimes. Just imagine I told you all this situational facts, all these situational facts.
Yeah.
Before the season started, would you have been drafting Waddle with reckless abandon in every draft? Of course you would have. If you knew this would be like his offense, like it was just him and HN. Like there's not many offenses that are just 2 guys.
Yeah.
But in this case, it is. And so for this reason, with a 50-point total, it's at home. If they were going to Buffalo, there would be a greater chance that this whole game could just end with the Dolphins never getting out of gear. But I do think that at home, they're going to have some sustained drives. They're going to be able to make something happen, and that something is probably going to be through Waddle. So I like Waddle for that reason. I also think as a streamer, and this is maybe going back all the way back to like the Xavier Leggett conversation from the first question, a guy like Malik Washington is also interesting for that same reason. And so this would be a good week to stream as a desperation option, maybe as a min salary option in DFS, a guy like Malik Washington.
I like that. I also really like teams. I like offenses that I know have a decent floor playing defenses that just won their Super Bowl, which the Bills just put it on the Chiefs. A lot of emotion invested into that game. Their defense really stepped up, but that's the thing. Their defense stepped up because they have not been playing well this year. And I think this is an offense. This is a skill position group that is capable of taking advantage of that. If you remove the Cleveland Browns game, which Cleveland Browns, unbelievable defense, Waddle's been wide receiver 5, 21, 3, and 22. 9 targets, 8 targets, 6 targets, 9 targets. I think he's a smash play going forward. And I like the other guys. I like Flowers, especially with Lamar back. And I like Rome. You know, I think Rome obviously has a bad taste in everybody's mouth from last week, but coming off of a 100-yard game the week before, he'll be fine. But this week in particular, really like Waddle.
Pop Dog asks, wait, who won the beef? We told you. Fusu Vu's the big winner.
Well,
Fusu Vu is the big winner on this. Chuck, I think what happened with Chuck is officially neutral. I think Chuck
neutralized me.
No, I think you came out just fine. I think you had some moments. You took some punches, you gave some punches. You came out of this fairly unscathed, is the way I would say it. I don't think you were helped. Would you think this was a big boon for you?
I gained 350 followers since this started. So I would say that, yeah, I'd say I'm a clear-cut winner up top.
Okay,
we'll put Foos.
I take it back. I had no idea this netted you so many followers. Okay, so Fusuvu is the big winner, though. I mean, let's be honest. Just based on the bravery that it took to melt down at such a high level in front of everybody, and then in the receipt that we would play now on Fusuvu is, I mean, most people, right, did not think that this was going to go anywhere. That he was just going to melt down, and he was going to drag himself and lose followers in the process and drag himself into oblivion. That did not happen. He also gained followers, and he has led to basically the castration of fantasy receipts.
Oh, so, Matt, I really hate to keep fact checking you on this one, but he lost almost 400 followers from this meltdown.
No, don't please, by all means, fact check me.
Oh, wait, yeah.
So let me get this straight. Wait a second. Hold on. I just assumed that he gained followers if you gained followers.
Well, I think I don't know.
He lost followers over this?
Well, yeah. I mean, what he was trying to do
is not makes sense because he was posting at such a volume.
Yeah.
When you're posting at such volume, you're going to alienate a segment of your audience. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, he was messaging. He was sending out some pretty psycho stuff, and I think that's where a lot of people were like, "Okay, you have some interesting analysis, but it's not worth having to watch this freak show go down." So they piled out, and then I mean, it could have been a multitude of reasons, but
I think I'm wrong. I think fantasy receipts should be clipping me and saying that Fusuvu is the big winner. I've been real-time fantasy receipting. No, it's true. That was bad. I wish I would have planned this way. I didn't. It would have been
tremendous content, though.
It's great. So you're the big winner.
I'll take it.
So by the numbers, according to the analytics, Chuck's the big winner. I would say that Fusu won in that he has achieved his goal of castrating fantasy receipts. So
I can live with that.
Okay, I think he got what he wanted out of it, which was a long shot.
Yeah.
Right. And then so you've also done well, and pretty much everyone else has lost, though.
Yeah. If you enjoy content, you're a winner. If you enjoy start streams, you're a winner, because this has been one hell of a show this morning. And if you just like to see people knock down a peg, you're a winner. So, I mean, it's like that's kind of week 10 when you're looking at Darius Slayton or Alec Pierce, and obviously you go Alec Pierce there. This is what you need to boost you through week 11, week 12.
Oh, Alec Pierce 13. All day there. What about Pop Douglas versus Parker Washington?
Ooh, that's a fun one. So Booty's out, right? Let's give you the Pop. Pop is so far. I'm shocked to see how far down Pop is in our rankings. Wide receiver 51 this week.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
I like Pop Douglas this week.
Yeah, they've got their projected 23 implied point total for the Patriots, and I mean that's where Tampa Bay is vulnerable in that secondary, in explosives down the field, which I did not think Pop was capable of going into this season. And every time I think it's Stephon Diggs wide open down the field, it's Pop Douglas.
Pop Douglas is a fun player. I think that Pop Douglas is underrated. The projections are not going to catch up to him quite yet.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I mean, I do you think Kyle Williams could get some run, or is it going to be Mac Hollins? Probably more Mac Hollins.
Yeah, that's the thing with this offense, is that they really have just been riding the hot hand. It's very, very Buffalo Billsy, and just like the scramble ability of Drake May to buy time and then push the ball down the field. He's getting sacked a lot, which I expect to have happen again today. But McDaniels has faced off against this Todd Bowles defense, I think they said 10 times, even though they're in different conferences. So this is somebody that they're familiar with, especially with his time at the Jets. So that's probably what's driving that number up. But the Parker Washington thing is tough, mainly because, forget the Jacoby Myers thing, forget all that jazz. Trevor, the lowest quarterback rating of the season was Trevor Lawrence's first matchup against the Texans. And now he has to play them again with no Brian Thomas, with no Travis Hunter, with no Brenton Strange. I think that's a bad matchup for them. And I just don't love the passing offense for Jacksonville this week.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's for the same reasons that we're like, Yeah, theoretically, I get why you could play Jacoby Brissett, but this is just one of those matchups where we could look up and he's been stuck at 8 fantasy points the entire game. Just like with Parker Washington, where it's like, man, it's just this seems like a Parker Washington week all the way. You look up and he's like 3 for 28 because they just never were able to get that car shifted into drive at all. And we don't know the role. What do you think Jacoby Myers' role is going to be?
Well, off the rip, they talked about just having him kind of be a slot guy, but they're going to need him out there in 2 wide receiver sets really soon, really, really quickly. I mean, Dynasty Brown can't finish a game. They're underplaying the severity of this Brian Thomas Jr. injury. We don't even know for sure when Travis Hunter's coming back. I mean, and this is not a great pass blocking offensive line.
No, Dynasty Brown is cleared.
Yeah. But he just has trouble with these games.
No, I know, but Dynasty Brown is an option. Dynasty Brown is arguably a more dynamic option than Parker Washington.
That's who I expected last week.
Actually, commanding more targets. The big play guy is Dynasty Brown, and then you add Jacoby Myers in the slot, and that's probably where Trevor Lawrence is going to be looking more often than not. So now all of a sudden, it's not the Parker Washington show like it looked like it could have been on paper before the trade.
Yeah.
And now that we see Dynasty Brown's been cleared, on the other hand, the Patriots just continue to leak playmakers, and week in, week out, especially last 3 weeks, we've seen more and more of this Pop Douglas in the box score. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm in. I think that's the Pop Douglas is the answer.
And I'll give you another nice little fun stat here. The Detroit Lions defense has given up the highest ADOT this year at 9.48. Texans are right behind them, even though they're the #1 defense per EPA. They are vulnerable to explosives. We saw that with Cortland Sutton last week. That's where this team can get beat because they rely on their pass rush to get to you quickly. When that's not the case, they are capable of the top being taken off. That's where Dynasty Brown accelerates, and he's ranked neck and neck with Parker Washington this week. They're both wide receiver 44 for Washington, wide receiver 45 for Brown. That's what we're talking about.
That's why we
do it.
Wow, this is good analysis, man. Yeah. I love how we've had this. This was like a starter stream sandwich. Where we had it really was where we had some just super accurate analysis at the front end, great starter stream advice on the back end, and in the middle it was fantasy the demise of fantasy receipts.
You've got it on your hat right there. Fantasy demise, fantasy drama. It's all there. The signs.
That's why, dude. Around.
And
you're like a mentalist.
Justin P. from St. Petersburg, Florida said maybe Chuck can sign that hat after the pod, and I would love to do nothing more.
Well, yeah, it's going to be auctioned off for $1 million. Absolutely.
And you can use that money to buy fantasy receipts.
We'll get you out of here. I think we've been at it for well over an hour now. I know an hour wasn't all start sit advice, but that's not really why you tune in when I come on the show. So we'll take them out here. We've got Tet, Vidal, or Kenneth Walker.
Now this is a hilarious one. Tet, wide receiver 9 on the week, as he should be. An excellent ranking for him. And then, of course, Vidal, we talked about earlier, but we didn't give him the ranking. Vidal is sitting at running back 21. Kenneth Walker, running back 24. So are the 2 carries inside?
By the way, Alec Pierce is already playing, just so everybody knows, and he has a touchdown.
Yeah, a nice touchdown. He was one of my plays of the week just because I love the matchup for him, and I love how good he's been this year. He's going to get a fat paycheck in 2026.
Yeah, he's like mini Christian Watson in a good way. In a good way. So, yeah, this is the Vidal is interesting. What happened last week? I'm pretty much ignoring what happened last week. I'm going to pencil him back in as the starter. It's a home game. I love Vidal this week. But then the question is, do you like him more than Walker? Do you like him more than McMillan? This is also a Kenneth Walker week.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't drop a week better than this for a Kenneth Walker week. If you're not going to play Kenneth Walker this week, you're not going to play him. So what do you do if you have Tet and Kenneth Walker? It's tough.
It is. And if you're just asking me to pick one, I think I'm taking Tet just because the matchup is so good. He dropped a touchdown last week that he should have had. I ignore last week because it was just a slugfest in Green Bay. 22.75 implied point total for the Panthers. So if the Panthers are scoring over 3 touchdowns, you're imagining that that's Rico Dowdle 1, maybe 2, and I would put the other one at Tet. And I really do like the Kenneth Walker play this week. I agree. He had 2 attempts from inside the 5-yard line last week, which is really like the big thing you wanted to see from a production standpoint. Can they run on the Cardinals? He had a nice game against them week 4.
We got to trust the process with McMillan. McMillan has underperformed his peripherals and his advanced metrics more than any other player. Not an effort thing, nothing other than just fantasy, just sports, right? Football. This is what happens, especially the wide receiver position. Very volatile week to week. That's why we're not going to panic about Rome Odunze. And even through a whole first half of disappointment, but the opportunities have been there. The flashes, the explosive plays have been there. We're a week away at any point from seeing one of those 30 points drop from Tet McMillan. And if I told you it was against the Saints, like, it wouldn't surprise you at all.
He was on camera dancing at Mike Jackson's turkey giveaway yesterday, and he looked pretty good. So I'm not worried about that hamstring. He's asking us right there, is that injury a concern? I don't know about you guys, but questionable has been good luck for me this year. Unless you had Mike Evans that one game. Questionable players have been a staple of my roster, probably of most people's rosters, considering the state of the league. But
Drake London was questionable at one point last week,
and he had 3 touchdowns. So, and you know who does everybody say reminds them of Drake London? Tetera McMillan. I think that's how we get out of here.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you on Twitter. Love you guys. Cheers.